Today we're looking at 5 players to buy and 1 player to sell for Dynasty Fantasy Football. We're going to look at the recent trends from the last 2 weeks of football and look at the work rates and the advanced analytics of these players. We're also going to take a look at the market to see who's nosediving or who's climbing up the ranks to see whether we need to buy, sell, or hold due to the market values. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now, because we're talking about the waiver wire every day. We're doing deep dives on these players every day. We're helping you set your lineups with these videos. Click that button, stop missing out. But the first player that we're going to talk about today was highly regarded in the rankings over the offseason in ADP, and he's nose diving right now. It's LaPorta, and maybe he was valued a little bit too high considering he's a young tight end. Maybe there's still room to growth. Or maybe it's just 2 games. A 9.9% target share, not looking good. But we have an 81.1 route participation rate. We're out on the field. We're running routes. We're seeing opportunity in those regards. We're in the slot. We're out there. We just had 2 matchups here against the Bucks and against the Rams. Both of those game scripts were weird, where the targets did not go his way. Still a good tight end, still good coming out of college. Maybe the market was a little bit too high on him over the offseason. Maybe that needed to cool off. Maybe that's so. But still, the market is down on him. He is trending down, and maybe you can catch him at a discount. Maybe not, maybe so. But you can always kick the tires and see if he's liquid in your league. But Erick is a cheap tight end in this year's rookie class who's starting to emerge, and Dynasty gamers are starting to realize that. And he was a guy that you could have got cheap in rookie drafts a few months ago, and he popped up with 4 targets last week, 11.8% target share, ran on 15 routes. Still not a ton of workload. Mike Gesicki's there, but he's starting to flash. He's starting to pop a little bit on the spreadsheets, and something to look at. He is cheap. He is almost free, and the liquidity of him being sold in leagues is starting to fade away, because gamers are going to see these numbers, watch these videos, and be like, hey, I ain't selling this guy. We're starting to see some of that upside come out of him, and that's what we're seeing with the market. So you better get in if you're in on all right now before it goes away, before he does something. He's ranked as the tight end 31 per the market on Keep Trade Cut. Keep Trade Cut is a tool where you do not want to take it 100% at face value, but you do want to look at it for market sentiments and see if you can catch players at certain discounts in your league, even though you know that certain types of players don't go for values in your league. Maybe in another league, or maybe in a league you jump in, they look at this or they feel a certain way. This is letting you know that Dynasty gamers are looking at Erick and they're saying, hey, I got a tight end here starting to do something. I like him a little bit more. That's what that chart really tells us. That's what that chart really tells us. They're not saying Erick is going to the moon. It's not saying his value is going a lot higher. It's saying Dynasty gamers are looking at Erick and they're saying, hey, he's starting to do something. I'm interested in him. I want to see this through. You better get in before more Dynasty gamers do that, or the Dynasty gamer in your league that has Erick in your league. Tank Dell. And looking at his target share, it's looking okay at 17%. And we're in on a lot of the routes. 85.7% route participation rate. And we're getting targets. 7 the first game, 4 the second game. And the production's not there per fantasy. Almost like 10 to 11 fantasy points on the season. The production's not there for fantasy football. But the work rate is, especially with the 8 out of 13, almost a 30% share of the passing air yards. So you're sharing the field with Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs, and you're getting a 30% share of the air yards. And you're getting close to a 20% target share at 17%. Sign me up with that, especially when the value's starting to tank a little bit on the tank, and you may be able to catch them at a discount. Something you may want to explore, considering the work rate's there. The Texans are going to be in these game scripts where they're going to see opportunity. The market's cooling off on Michael Pittman, but we got a 30% target share. We're running a lot of routes, and the market was probably too high on him over the offseason. And the thing is, this team runs a lot of clock. They don't run a lot of plays. They run the ball a good bit. Anthony Richardson also runs the ball, and the targets aren't 100% accurate. I think we can agree on that. The volume in the passing game's not 100% there, but he's running a lot of routes. He's got a good target share, and the price is dropping. And the thing is, the market was too high to begin with, considering all the other things going on with this team here. And now you're seeing the price drop, which was kind of predictable, unless Anthony Richardson took a massive step forward and the volume in this offense and the passing game changed immensely. He's still getting good work though, and the price at wide receiver 34, if you're catching a 30% target share and you're ranked at wide receiver 34, that's a good buy. And maybe you can catch him at a discount because he's getting good work right now. He's getting good opportunity. He's going to be with the Colts for a while. He's not going to be what you had last year or the year prior, more than likely, if things stay this way. But the thing about this, you're not paying for that. You're paying wide receiver 34 price tag. Maybe cheaper because the market's dumping him. A lot of people get emotional. A lot of people catch FOMO. You catch that in fantasy football. You catch it in stocks. You catch it in gambling. Maybe you can catch someone getting emotional on Michael Pittman, Elijah Moore. If you want a wide receiver that's running a lot of routes, seeing targets that nobody gives a shit about, that you can catch off waivers, maybe for free as a throw-in in your league, Elijah Moore's a guy to look at. He scored 10 fantasy points last week. I mean, nothing great, but he's also running a lot of snaps. He's getting opportunity. The air yards aren't there. It's at 4, but he's getting targets. He's averaging 7 targets a game. That's awesome. Almost a 20% target share. We're at 18.7. If you got an 18.7% target share and you're in on almost 90% of the routes, and this guy's valued at wide receiver 93, so he's giving you about like a wide receiver 50 to 40 work rate right now when you combine that with the production, and you're looking at wide receiver 93 value on keep trade cut, that means the market sentiment is saying, hey, no one gives a shit about this guy. He's sitting on waivers. No one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck that he's on the back end of the bench. But your wide receivers suck right now. You're decimated. You're in the hunt to win your league, but you need somebody that's at least running some routes on the back end of your bench. You need something like that. He's not going to win your league. That's not the type of asset we're looking at. We're looking at what I just said. A wide receiver no one cares about that's getting more workload than expected that you can play money ball with week to week in your lineups. But a sell to look at is Chris Godwin. He's seeing a 32.7% target share over his last 2 games, 8 targets a game. A lot of work right now, a lot of things going his way. Had 2 tremendous matchups against Detroit and Washington. The game scripts broke his way. He's seeing more opportunities in the slot. Ran over 70% of his routes in the slot against Detroit, and things are going his way. It's on the upswing right now, and the market's saying, hey, we're buying in on this. So people are like, hey, I like Chris Godwin. I like that he's scoring fantasy points. I'm interested in. So who's really interested in Chris Godwin? Is it the last place team in your league, or is it the guy trying to win the championship? And half the league thinks they can win the championship. You look at those teams and you're like, I got Chris Godwin, and what if I can get more in return than what he's worth? What if I can get more than wide receiver 30 out of him? Can I do that? Can I bamboozle somebody? Can I do that? If not, if I can't get that return, of course I'm holding. It's not like a sell. I got to get him off my team. He's catching my spreadsheets on fire or anything like that, but he's getting work. He's scoring production here. He's 28 years old, soon be 29 years old. In the offseason, his value is going to drop due to people looking at that age. That being said, if you can capitalize on this on the now, if you're a middle-of-the-road team, you're rebuilding, retooling. If you're retooling or rebuilding, you shouldn't be on there anyways. But all of a sudden, you started rebuilding. It just bit you in the face. You got Chris Godwin. Now's the time, my friend. Now's the time. You got to be fluid. You got to look at those win-now teams, and you got to take advantage of them. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.